me understand just what's the clinical definition of diabetes and prediabetes?
Sure. So clinically, diabetes, I like to say, is always more than a number, but we start with the diagnosis. So when your blood is drawn in a lab setting, perhaps at the doctor's office, or maybe you do it at home with a glucometer, you get your blood drawn or a finger stick, a little drop of blood, and there's analysis that's done to determine what's the level of blood sugar in that blood. So there's two parameters that are looked at. One is your fasting blood sugar or morning blood sugars. This is before you've eaten anything for the day. So let's say you went to bed at 10 p.m., you get up at 6:30 a.m., maybe you go to a lab at 7 a.m., they take your blood, right? You've had nothing to eat. You've probably had something to drink. That's fine. Water specifically is okay. I always ask people, don't drink anything else, just water. That won't affect your blood sugar. And they'll test your blood. From there, we get a number. If the number for your fasting blood sugar is under 100, for most clinicians, they will say you do not have type 2 diabetes, prediabetes, right? If the number is over 100, then if it's 100, 101, 120, somewhere in there, people might say, Then we look at another measure called A1C. So A1C is short for hemoglobin A1C or glycosylated hemoglobin. That's a mouthful. Glycosylated hemoglobin, right? That's what really A1C stands for. But it's shortened to A1C just to make it simpler for the general public. But that number is a measure of your average blood sugar control, your blood sugar balance over the course of time, say 3 or 4 month period. That number is measured into ranges. So if your A1C is under 5.7, like if it comes up at 4.8, 5.2, that's considered healthy, normal, you're all good. There is no prediabetes or type 2 diabetes situation there. Once your A1C gets to a range of 5.7 to 6.4, the diagnosis then comes in as prediabetes. If your A1C is 6.5 or higher, comes in at like 6.9, 7.3, 8, 10. Gosh, 10, that's super high. That is absolutely type 2 diabetes. And with that diagnosis, then we'll determine typically the kinds of treatments that are offered. And in my opinion, those treatments should always be rooted in lifestyle things like nutrition, meal planning, consistent regular exercise that helps to build muscle because muscle will help with blood sugar control, stress, and sleep. Sleep does so much good for us. And it really will help with your blood sugar control. So those are the things that we're looking at. And that's how a diagnosis is derived, is looking at those two things, the fasting morning blood sugar number along with an A1C.